Today I'm going to go through 5 reasons why you can't press handstand. Now you might be aiming for a straddle press, a tuck press, a pike press, a stalder press, a planche press. Doesn't matter which one, there's a good chance that you're missing one of these important things. Now whichever press we're working towards, we need a certain amount of flexibility. Now that will change person to person. It depends on the limb length, it depends how strong we are, it depends how balanced we are. Well, there will definitely be a flexibility demand. Now normally it's forward fold plus straddle. You could argue for things like tuck, pike, planche, you don't need so much of a straddle position. Having the ability to take the shoulders, the arms, the hands much lower than the hips on all the presses is going to make it much easier to get the hip on top of the hands, which then allows you to lift the feet. Now that could be coming through a funky position like that. It could be coming through a stricter position like a pike press. It doesn't matter which one. The lower we can take the hands, the easier it is to get the hip on top, the more efficient it is, the less strength we need, the easier it's going to be to unlock that press. As a rough guide, I'd recommend that you get to a point where comfortably cold, you can put your palms easily on the floor. And then a straddle position, if you can go into a open leg position, take the hips backwards and take the forehead to the floor and come all the way back up again is a good straddle goal. And also being able to do a straddle up from the floor. So open hip position, take the hands back behind you, sit all the way down onto the floor and then be able to stand back up again comfortably. Now I'm not saying you can't press if you can't do those things, but what that means is you're going to have to steal more strength to be able to do the press. And the reason I can do multiple reps of press handstand is because I have a good balance of strength and flexibility. Number 2, the more handstand strength we have, the easier it's going to be to hang out in things like shoulder planche positions when I take the shoulders past the hands into this position, and now I can float because I'm using that strength to take me up and counterbalance the legs and the hips that are in this direction. So if I can go that way with the shoulders, I can lift up more what's sticking out behind me. So having the ability to planche, so basically hold the body up in this position, being able to take the shoulders forwards of the hands in a handstand position like this, very strong in the under balance, and be able to go back again is going to make all press variations much easier and takes demand off the flexibility. So learning things like tuck planche is going to make it much easier. Being able to do wall leans, so be able to go on and off the wall with the shoulders comfortably for repetitions, will make a big difference in being able to hang out over the top of the hands and creates a big balance window for things like under balance control, where we need to hang when the hips and the legs are lowering towards the floor. Number 3, we have to have good balance throughout the range of motion of the press handstand, and also the catch position, so the top of the press handstand needs to really have a big window of balance. So if I go up on my catch here and I go too fast and go over, I don't fall onto my back, I can catch it and bring it back down again. That's very common in things like pike presses where the hips and the legs are changing position quickly, and you'll tend to see it with people that have very good flexibility but might not have so much strength. They'll be entering positions, changing positions quite quickly, so they need to be able to catch much better at the top. So when you get to here, this flick that happens in the hip is hard to catch. So if you have a really good balance window, you're going to fall less often, which means you're going to get more quality reps, which is just going to equal better training. And also for better training reps, if we got good balance throughout the range, that just means that I can pause, I can fine tune while I'm halfway through a movement. So if I can hold here and show really good balance, I can work out where my feet, my legs need to be. I can work out where my gaps are in my ranges of motion, and I can specifically target areas of the press handstand. And if I'm missing that balance throughout the range, I'm going to have to go to things like wall presses, where I'm now relying on the wall to hold me in position, which gives me good time under tension, but that's less like the real thing we're aiming for, which is the freestanding press to handstand. Number 4, missing time under tension. Now, time under tension is super important. If we're training a skill, we need to have the right training stimulus throughout the full range of motion. If I'm training something like a partial range press handstand, I might go into this position, put my feet up onto a step, or these sketchy P-bars. I can then press up from there. Now, it's a great exercise. However, it's only training this part of the movement. I'm missing the time under tension from this point down to this point. I'm only getting time under tension from this point to that point, so I'm missing this section. So this either means that I'm missing a drill. So if I'm doing this one where I'm doing the partial range from here, I need a second drill that's going to fill this gap, which might be a slow eccentric. So if the slow eccentric goes all the way down, now there's that time under tension of the part I was missing because I'm coming to the floor. That is going to fill that gap. So they're two drills that go really nicely together, the partial range and the eccentric, because there's no missing gaps in the time under tension. There is something missing because I'm not doing the concentric, the going up on this part, but it is getting a training stimulus on that bottom half of the movement. So you might be missing a drill, like missing that section, or you might have the wrong drill or progression for you. So if I said the eccentric is a great drill because it gets time under tension all the way down, but you do it like this, you have great time under tension, slow control movement for this section, but then you do that at the bottom, so you're just dropping that last half. That's the wrong drill for you because you're missing the time under tension because you're just falling in the bottom half. So you might say to yourself, okay, I need to fill that gap. The best way to fill that gap is to slow it down even more and do a wall assist eccentric, which is a great way of controlling that range of motion where you was dropping. But then you have two choices. You could do back to wall or chest to wall. Now the chest to wall is a great drill. The downside of the chest to wall is if you are missing that section of the movement is when you come to that point again, which is here, a lot of people will drop again because the chest to wall is a bit more of advanced movement and you need to have that control in that last section. So you're probably better off switching it to a back to wall press handstand drill, which allows you to come down and have wall support all the way to the bottom. Now I can come down much slower. So all three of those, the freestanding, the back to wall and the chest to wall, are all great eccentrics, but they need to be chosen at the right time for the right person so it matches their ability, their flexibility, their strength, their understanding of the movement. And then number 5, time. Now it might be that you just haven't been training for long enough towards the press handstand to equal the press handstand. Now some people, if they have good flex, good strength, good balance, they might get the press handstand in like 3 months or even quicker, but most people are going to take 3 months to 18 months to achieve the press handstand. And obviously that's going to depend on the individual, also the consistency that we're training. I'd recommend that most people who are working press handstand seriously are training 3 to 4 times per week specifically on the press handstand. But again, that will be dependent on the individual and these 3 things again. Let me know down in the comments where you are on the press handstand. Let me know if you have any requests for other videos. If you're after coaching, check out my app and website. Links are down in the description, and I'll speak to you in the next one.